letter. We just got a letter.
Oh.
I wonder who it's from.
The oldies.
Yeah.
Playing all the hits here in Springfield. You're only 16?
Yeah.
So, like, he wasn't even on Blue's Clues when you were born.
He was, because we never watched this season until after.
Come here, just come over here and get a microphone. I'm not going to yell at you. What's your backstory?
We never watched Blue's Clues.
Oh, then you're in the wrong
No.
band.
We never watched Blue's Clues until we saw all of Steve's seasons, because we were like, no, we gotta give you a proper backstory. And so they gave, because I was born in 2007, but that was the year that they transitioned. And so they were like, we gotta give you someone who's silly, but he still understands what's going on, and
What's your name?
I'm Kai.
I'm Steve. It's nice to meet you.
Because the main thing is that I always said that, thank you, Karma. I prefer Steve over Joe because you always, like when you had the 3 clues, you'd always be like, oh, it's this, but if it was a joke, like in Blue's Big Musical Movie, you were like, I don't know, maybe it's me.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was the whole idea. The whole idea was that you were smarter than me, that I needed your help. Right? That was, at least that's what I was going for. But I want to get one thing straight, there will be no Joe bashing.
Woo! Justice for Joe!
I love that man. He's one of my best friends, and he's like a brother. So.
I mean, he is your brother.
He's my cousin. He's my brother. Josh is my cousin. I forget.
Kai,
Oh.
do you just want to sit in this chair? Do you want to run the band?
That's
Alright, so here's how it works. You call on them, they ask for questions, they go, and then we go with that.
Okay.
And I'm here to help you because you get nervous.
Okay, well, I am nervous.
Look at Stephen Blue. Alright, Kyle, you're up.
Okay, so.
Tell me your name. No, I know your name, but tell everybody your name.
My name is Hannah. It's nice to see you again, Steve.
Hannah made that sweater. Isn't that cool?
That's awesome.
I literally had it at the panel too yesterday, and I was like frantically crocheting. Like, I've got to finish this.
That was you!
I was crocheting all the panels that I was at. So I finished this last night at like 1 o'clock in the morning. It was wild. But my question is for you is, how did they like indicate to you like, oh, this is where you're supposed to talk, because like most of the characters you talk to are animated, so like how did they do that for you, and like were you talking to a person, and like which character was your favorite to interact with?
Excellent question. Well, first of all, Blue's Clues, when I did it back in the day, was on a blue screen, right? Because my show was green. So I had nothing to interact with, literally nothing.
Wow.
And there was just a big room, and there were no corners in the room. It was like what we call a cove, so it was like curved. So imagine being in a room that's all painted blue, exactly the same color blue with no corners. You couldn't even discern spatially where you were. It was very disorienting. And we had no money at all the first couple seasons of that show. I mean, like, we were doing it on desktop Macintosh. Like, it was just as cheap as you could possibly imagine. So I wasn't talking to another actor, I was talking to like a PA. It was like, it's over there, Steve. And you see, like, when you see how they make Star Wars and stuff, right? They have people dressed in green suits, and they have like sticks with tennis balls on them and stuff to help out the actors who are working on a green screen. I had none of that, right? And so I'd have to run around like a crazy person in this like like at the bottom of a swimming pool, is what it felt like. With no way to discern where I was in space. And then run up to the camera and be like, do you know? And if I was here, it was correct. And if I was here, it was wrong. And I'd have to do it again, you know. Because they were trying to work backwards into animation that they were going to do later. So we eventually got wicked good at it, like in a matrixy kind of strange way. We just got good at it. But for the first couple seasons, it was really hard, and not just for me. I think it was probably hardest for me, but it was also difficult for the director and for any of us to just figure out what the heck we were doing. Now, by the time we did the reboot recently with Josh, his life is so ridiculously easy. He has like people in green suits, and everyone's like, look at this object, it's blue, and it's like a cutout of exactly blue. I mean, how does he get that? Couldn't I have that? You know? But the technology is advanced, and there's a lot more money on the show now, so Josh's life is easy. Joe's life was harder, and mine was the hardest.
Thank
I
you.
think I answered your question, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you have a favorite character that you liked to interact with?
Yeah, I liked, my favorite character on the show was Mr. Salt. Just because the guy who did his voice was also one of the guys who did all the music for the show, and he's just such a sweet guy. His name is Nick Balaban, and he talks like this, and he called me Steve. And he is so funny. And I used to watch him record, and the outtakes of Mr. Salt were hilarious. He was always like, Steve, what is wrong with you? Can you not see the clue, you mad child? Like, hilarious stuff. I think I just adored that person so much. But as a character, I really liked Side Table Drawer. Yeah, because like she was shy, right? That was her whole thing. And the whole idea is that she needed to open up.
I get it.
Yeah.
He said what we're all thinking.
I just thought that was a really sweet character. And also, a lot of people didn't know this, but in every episode of Blue's Clues, we would hide 3 snails. Yeah. So if you go back,
There were 3 of them?
there are 3 in every episode of Blue's Clues. And Snail never had any lines or anything, which is always there. And then there's like a musical where all of a sudden we just like panned to Snail, and he's like, whoa!
He actually said, I just love to be me.
Yeah, I just got to be me, right? And so I like that character too.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That was so much fun.
You're welcome. Hey, Tom Baker.
Hi, my name is Adrian. We talked a little bit about your album, Songs for Dust Mites, at the panel, or at your table, and I guess from the way it sounded, unfortunately, I'll be asking a little bit more about that. So I was kind of wondering, you worked with the Flaming Lips. Were there some other bands that you had kind of influenced that creation of the album? And if you were to make an album nowadays, what would be some bands that you would pull from sonically that you would kind of like to make an album that sounds like?
Great questions. Back in the day when I was writing all of that music, I was listening, the Flaming Lips were a big influence on me. I love that band. That's kind of what kicked off my desire to actually try to make music for people to listen to. But other than that, I was always a big David Bowie fan. Still am. That was another big influence of mine at that time. Trying to think. I was briefly into sort of loop-based music back then. Nowadays, my musical taste has changed a lot. Like now, I'm into a lot more classical music and a lot more pared down songwriting kind of stuff. I like a guy named Nick Drake a lot. I like Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. I don't know if you guys know these bands, but they're
I just like people named Nick.
yeah, I like Nick this band from Iceland called Sigaros. I don't know if you know that band. But they're...
That guy got it.
There's one guy's got my Spotify playlist. I'm trying to think of what else I've been listening to, but I haven't been listening to a whole lot of new music. But yeah, those are the things I'm digging right now. Thanks for your question.
Thank you. And can I just say, my mother is from Long Island, New York, so the amount of New York accents kind of in that show and around that show is really kind of culturally
Yeah,
appreciated.
you can hear it if you're listening. All the kid voiceovers are all from New York. So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Apparently.
I like how he didn't say it out loud. He's like,
Yeah, we're minding each other.
Hi. Okay. So I didn't watch it on TV. I never had cable or satellite. I got Blue's Clues DVDs from the library. Makes me sound old now. Makes me feel old. Okay. So I not only watched Blue's Clues, I also watched Blue's Room. You guys remember Blue's Room?
Sorry.
The one with the puppets?
Are you okay?
Okay, so I have two questions. What advice would you give to those who are wanting to enter in the field of children's entertainment? And when I met you, you're such a chill and calming guy. How do you manage pressure and criticism?
You guys are full of great questions, Missouri.
We love you, Steve.
Two questions there, right? First question was advice for someone trying to get into children's media in general. I think you might have said children's television, but
I said children's entertainment.
Yeah, okay. Immediately I would say stop thinking about television. If I'm 5, I'm not interested in television, right? I'm interested in media, information that I can interact with, right? It's going to become more and more viewer-driven. So I would think, especially for children, how can it be a tactile, environmental experience, right? And then the next thing I would think is, please bring your A game, right? There's a lot of children's television that's pretty lazy, in my opinion. All we give kids is like, yay, or like, aww, and that's it. You know, that's most of it. And I've just seen, in 25 years, just a lot of children's television being made to make money off of children. And that's it. It's toy commercials, like Paw Patrol. I mean, let's be honest, that was a toy before it was a cartoon. So the cartoon is a commercial for the toys. And that's cool, I guess, but that's not Fred Rogers. That's not Sesame Street. That's not the good stuff. And I'll use those two as an example, or Reading Rainbow, or what Bavard does. These are people bringing their A game to kids' TV, bringing their actual passion to children's media. And when that stuff hits, it lasts forever. You know, so I would say if you're not inspired, don't do it. You know, if it doesn't mean the world to you, you know, don't do it. The woman who created Blue's Clues, she would have had no choice but to create Blue's Clues. It was her passion, you know, and I would just say, bring your heart and soul to it, bring your A game to it, you know, that's what I would say. There's another question. I'm chill, what do I need to be chill? I'm not chill, I'm always angry. That's what I say. Leviathan. I'm not always chill. I have a lot of social anxiety and not great with crowds. This was my guy back there. These events, actually, if I weren't separated by a table, I wouldn't be able to do them. I'm not kidding. You know, I lived in New York City for 26 years, and it was a struggle for me. You know, I felt very overwhelmed by that at all times. But I have practices that I do that help me out a lot. It's just about, you know, there's a stimulus, and then there's your reaction to it, right? But it is possible to put a slight space between those two things. And if you can develop a practice of putting some sort of space between stimulus and your response, that's useful if you are a person who deals with anxiety, if you are a person who deals with ruminating thoughts, who deals with, all of these kind of things. And there's a million different ways to practice that, and I wouldn't get into prescribing any of that to anyone, but it's about noticing, paying attention, slowing down, stuff like that. And it's work, right? It's practice. I do it every day. And doing that has been one of the most transformative things in my life. So, that's what I do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love the dress. It's great work.
Thank you. My name's Susanna, and first off, I want you to know, I never thought you had died, but I did think that you went off to college at the end of Blue's Clues until I was like 15.
Who did?
So, I don't know if that was like the actual reality, but I said that in passing to my mom, and she was like, wait. You realize that Steve was like an adult during the show? And I was like, well, yeah, but he could have gone to college. So that's the one that I was bought into. My question is, it feels like a couple of years ago you kind of started leaning towards making more content related to Steve and like the audience that I'm in, like the people who grew up with your era of Blue's Clues. So what kind of brought you back into doing that? What kind of like got your attention to kind of coming back and making those very awesome videos of you kind of interacting with the you that is us,
What is your name?
Susanna.
Susanna. What?
Susanna, like
Susanna.
Sandra Rainey.
Oh, Susanna. What did you say? The you that is us?
Yes.
Oh, I'm using that. That's beautiful.
You want to refer to the audience as you.
Yeah, that's
so did the other
beautifully said. You look awesome, by the way.
Thank you so much. My mom actually got this for Christmas for me and didn't know I was coming here yet. So
Oh, well, that worked out. That worked out. Okay. You said something else before your question that I wanted to respond to, but I forgot it. You said, what made me start talking to you that is us?
Yes.
You said, did I go to college? No. Did I die? No. But I also never really left the show. I was always involved. Like I helped find Joe. For the reboot, I write, direct, produce. Like I'm all over that thing. So like I personally didn't feel super removed from Blue's Clues. I just felt like I don't want to be on TV ever again. You know what I mean? So it didn't feel to me as much as I had left as it did to me. You know what I mean? So when Blue's Clues turned 25, we were doing a lot of press and stuff about that. And they asked me to direct a music video, and I was directing like a music video with the other two hosts at Beastie Boys. And they were like, will you don the stripes again and do a shout out? And I was like, ooh, hold my beer. Because I immediately thought, like, I don't want to talk to the kids. I don't want to talk to Josh's fans. They don't know who I am. They don't care. They're into Josh. It's like, I want to talk to my friend.
We love you too.
Yeah. But that's what I wanted to do. Like, no, I want to continue the conversation, right? Because back in the day, we would talk about important things like shapes and colors and which of these snacks is a graham cracker. But we did that with respect, and we did that I tried to do that as sincerely as possible. And though it was wacky and strange, I wanted it to feel real. And with as much respect as I could, I said, why can't we just do that now? Why can't we just keep doing that? And I didn't write that thing, I just went out and did it, right? I jotted down a couple bullet points and I pulled my producer aside and said, Siobhan, what do you think? Can I do this? Or, you know, is this gonna be weird? And she's like, just go out there and talk to your friend. And I was like, yeah. And that's just what came out, right? We did 2 takes of that video thing. The first one I cried, so we couldn't use it. The second one, the whole crew cried. And we had no idea that it was gonna have an impact at all, right? We had no idea what was going on. And it was a very simple impulse. It was just, I wanted to talk to y'all again, check in, and say, what's up? And the fact that there was such a response to it means cool stuff. Think about it. We are still able to have what approaches a real relationship through television, the phone, media. That's significant, right? We used, in that moment, social media to have a respectful, care-driven conversation in that moment, as opposed to just trolling each other and making each other feel like crap, right? That's important, that's cool, that we are able to get this. What's the reason that I do these things? Is to continue this conversation. I just think it's fascinating and a unique and incredible opportunity, and it feels very special to me, you know? And Blue's Clues was a very personal experience to me, right? And even though I know that I don't, you know, intellectually I understand that I'm talking to a room full of strangers, it does feel to me like talking to an old friend. And that's super cool. And so we're still looking for ways to really kind of keep this going. I don't know, it'll probably be a podcast real soon, or all this other stuff that we're thinking of doing, and just continuing this in some way. But that's how it happened.
Well, thank you so much. And I definitely feel that intention from it, and I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you being like my big brother / babysitter, and also my sister's big brother / babysitter.
Yes, well, thank you for addressing the you that is all of us.
Thank you.
I want people to know that his Apple Watch background is the sweater.
Hold the microphone to it, we can all see it. That's how technology works.
I saw it in the middle of that question, and I went,
It should be ticketing.
it should be ticketing.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead. Is this thing working? Okay. Hi, Steve. My name is Dylan. I met you yesterday, and I've been a big fan of yours for years now, ever since I've been born in 2001. One question I have for you in particular is, when you left the show in 2002, did Nickelodeon or any other production company offer you any acting offers to you, like, you know, from Disney or Warner Brothers? Like, I know that you went directly into the music industry afterwards, but did they offer you any positions or anything?
Not so much directly, but I will say that when I moved to New York City, I wanted to be like a gritty, pretentious actor, right? Blue's Clues was like my second audition, and then I was like, oh, I guess I'm Happy Jackass Bowl for the rest of it. So I was worried for a while I was on the show, like this is going to pigeonhole me for the rest of my life. It actually opened way more doors for me than it closed. Like it happened many times throughout that career. Like big time actors would come up to me and be like, "You're good on that show. What you're doing is hard." You know, so like I think people kind of saw what the gig was. But the truth is, by the end of that show, I was in every take of every shot, every day, the entire time, with no actors or props. And the amount of imagination that took was depleting. You know, a lot of people say, why'd you go Blue's Clues? It's an unsexy answer, but that's the answer. Like, my imagination muscle was tired, like envisioning the soap. You know, like I was kind of burned out on acting. So there were some opportunities right after, but I was more like, I'd like to be behind the camera forever now. You know? So there wasn't anything specific, and definitely nothing at Disney. Disney wouldn't touch a Nickelodeon guy with a 5 million foot.
Right.
But nothing specific, but it created more opportunities than it shut down, for sure.
I see. Also, too, what did you do before Blue's Clues?
Nothing, man. I was in college. I was a sophomore in college, and I won a National Acting Award for being very gritty and pretentious and dark. I wanted to be Al Pacino so bad. I had long hair. I had earrings. I smoked cigarettes. I was like a skate punk. You know what I mean? When I got that show. So I moved to New York because I won that award. I got an agent who was interested in me, and I quit college and went to New York City. And I was up for 2 jobs when I first got there. It looked like I was either going to be on a show called Blue's Clues or a show called Homicide. And Blue's Clues was the one that happened first, so you talk about a fork in the road.
Yeah, for sure.
So Blue's Clues happened like right away, like when I moved to New York City. But a lot of people don't know that it was not my main job, right? I can say all this stuff years later, I don't care. Like, trust me, none of us were doing Blue's Clues for the money. Right? Certainly not at the beginning.
More for the fun.
Well, just because I thought it was brilliant, cool, and it was working, and, you know. But my main gig was I was a voiceover guy, right? Like, you've heard me your whole life on commercials. Like, I'm the guy at the end of commercials who always says, do the thing with the stuff, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm currently the guy who says, Snickers satisfies, right? So, and there's a ton of those that I've done, and that was like my main job. If I didn't have that job, the first couple seasons of Blue's Clues, I wouldn't have been able to afford to do Blue's Clues and live in New York City. You know what I mean? So people say to me, oh, your career with Blue's Clues. I was like, no, that's what I was doing while I was doing voiceovers. You know what I mean? So I consider myself a voiceover guy first in some ways. So I hope that answers your question.
Good question.
It does. Also, too, what is your...
Hold on a second. We need to get through the line. I appreciate your questions. I really do. But if you have follow-up questions, maybe do it over there at the table so we can get through as many people as we can.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay. Thanks, Steve.
Yep. You got it.
Hi, Steve. My name is Christian. I wanted to ask you, you talked about wanting to keep the conversation going with the me that is us. As I don't know who you are, but you did it so beautifully. So beautifully said. And I was wondering what gave you the idea to continue that conversation in such creative ways, like this TikTok, where you simply listen to the viewer, like you just nod and you hear them out like it's an actual conversation, while other creators would just say, hey, tell me how you're doing in the comments. I'm just curious what your thought process was with such creative ways.
Other creators would be like, Elmo? You'd be like, Elmo, when you told me to eat my lunch the other day? I don't feel like that was a really creative idea. I felt like it was the opposite. I was like, what if I just do the part that I did on Blue's Clues? Where I'm like, do you know? The real idea, the real answer to that, Christian, is to me it felt like a social experiment. When we got the reaction to the viral video, I thought, can we use social media in the opposite way in which it is being used? Can it just be holding space for respect? Can it just be a place where, can it not be about getting over on someone? Can it just be about holding space for someone? And how simple can that be? You know, I try to do as little as possible. I posted one this morning where I barely say anything. I was in my hotel room and I'm like, that's it. You know what I mean? And and that's the opposite of like trying to make someone feel like crap in the comments, or trying to damn dance for someone's attention, or you know, all these strange ways in which we are relating to our phone. Can it be the opposite? You know, the internet got mean during the pandemic, man. So I don't feel like it was a creative thing as much as it was like, I wasn't adding to the world as much as I was trying to take away and see how minimal it could be. That was the idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so take a breath first.
Yes.
Okay, I met you yesterday. My name is Jackson. And I got a couple questions, like what is your favorite type of music, and do you think blue is cute?
My favorite kind of music is I like music that makes you feel stuff. That is my main criteria for music. The kind of music I don't like is music that doesn't make any challenges on me at all. I don't like that kind of music. I'm like, yeah, whatever, what do you got? But if it's music that stirs me up in some way, if it makes me want to dance, if it makes me want to cry, I often go to music specifically for that reason, right? I like music that inspires me, that makes me want to run 5 miles, that makes me want to call my mom. I like music that like affects me. And blue is super cute. Are you crazy? Oh, come on. Blue is ears, there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You're
Jackson.
welcome,
Good
Jackson.
question.
Hi. I am so nervous right now. My name is Nick.
He likes your music.
Yeah, I love music. Big music guy. But so, growing up with Blue's Clues, full credit to everybody else who worked on the show, cast, crew, and the guys who came after you. But I really don't think that the show would have been able to capture the magic that it did without you. And to that end, I have to ask, one, how many grown adults come up to you and cry in your day-to-day life? And two, does it ever start to feel normal that you had such a profound impact on so many people?
You guys are asking the greatest question. I'm not even kidding. Nick, thank you for saying that I was the greatest host. However, I gotta say, when we did Blue's Clues back in the day, it was very breakthrough, right? No one had really done that before. A lot of the hosts of children's television talk to the camera. In fact, most of them do. It's kind of a convention of children's television. What Blue's Clues did, what we leaned into is that we listened to the camera. We made that conceit as believable as it could be to you as a child. So that hadn't happened before, so I think that was my job to do that, and I guess it worked. But I think a lot of it is the breakthrough nature of the show and the repeat viewing that made it the phenomenon that it was then. And then a lot of people started doing it, so by the time the other guys came around, it wasn't quite as unique. I will say that. What else did you say to me, Nick?
Grown adults crying.
Yes,
when they
all
make
the
you-
time. All the time. And does that ever get normal? Nope. It's very difficult for me, you know, to throw my arms around the impact that that show may have had. Like, that's very difficult. I think I'm older than you, but we're older than them.
Yes.
So we have kids' TV shows that we grew up on, and the kids' shows that I grew up on were so important to me. To think that I am that show for Nick is crazy. To think that I might be someone's Grover is like not something that my brain can readily process. Every now and then you get a whiff of it, but it's not something I can hold on a daily basis. And when people come up to me and cry and say how important Blue's Clues was to them, I do immediately think of everyone else who helped make that show. I do, and I wish they were there with me so that they could also feel that love. But no, it never gets normal, and it always feels special, and I'm always willing to listen. So,
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nick.
Hello, my name is Lathan, and I was wondering, how does salt and pepper make paprika? Yeah.
it's a good question. This is the way I like to break this down. biology is very different than human biology. And I'm going to blow your minds now, right? Don't think of them as spices. Think of them as shakers. For we are all just vessels that contain our own unique flavor, our own unique spice. Everyone's soul is different. Some of us are cinnamon. Some of us are peppery. Some of us are salty. So if you think of them as mere vessels for their own unique flavors and personalities, it makes more sense.
Also, I was wondering if I could take a photo with you real quick.
I'm sorry, Rick.
Let's do it over there.
I also just came up with that.
Thank you.
Hello. Go
Hey
ahead.
there. My name's sorry.
No,
Too
you're
close.
No, you're good.
My name's Christian. Let's see. I saw you during the the DVD tapes and all that, and I also saw the Joe stuff live during that time. It was 2005, and I was 7. My question was more related to your music thing. Did you ever tour with anybody, like any big name bands, like like Matchbox 20 or something like that?
Nothing that big, but there's a band from not super far from here, from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, named the Flaming Lips, who I love. They're like huge elsewhere in the world, but not so huge here in the States, but you've definitely heard some of their songs. They're critically Grammy-winning, amazing, super nice guys. I worked with them on my record. I went on tour with them in the UK. I opened for them. I'm not good live, and that's the truth. But yeah, I got to tour with those guys. And they say don't meet your heroes, but I met them, and it was awesome. And I'm going to go see them. I'm driving from here to Oklahoma. I'm going to go see them next week.
What was the band's name again?
The Flaming Lips.
Flaming Lips. All right, I'll check them out. Flaming Lips. Thank you, Steve.
Yep.
Well, let me just say this. I have so many questions.
Okay, we got time for one.
What about 2?
We do it quick, lightning round.
Okay, so where can I buy your t-shirt? Or not the t-shirt, the sweater thing. And do you ever think that there could be a crossover with other TV shows with Blue's Clues?
Amazon, and not a chance. That's not the way kids TV works. With licensing.
I'm holding my tears.
Maybe Nick Jr. will do a crossover with another Nick Jr., but unlikely.
My name is Abigail, and I have 2 questions.
Hi, Abigail.
What made you want to join the industry, and did you ever help on like the animation or art of the show?
Oh boy, I always wanted to be an actor since I was very little, an actor or musician, right? Since I was way younger than you, and I'm just going to go ahead and answer the question. No, I did not draw the clues. I tried to draw the clues once, but I couldn't do it because, first of all, they're really hard to draw. Second of all, the way that had to happen was like, you hold the notebook here, and the camera would be here. You couldn't see it. You couldn't see the clues. It was like this, because the camera was in the way. Like, so many different people drew those clues because people would quit. It was the hardest job on set was to draw those clues. We had professional animators and illustrators drawing those clues. It was by far the hardest thing that happened at that show. But I'm not super good at drawing, so I never contributed to any of the art or animation. But that was an excellent question.
Good job, Evan. This is going to have to be our last question.
I'm sorry, guys, I talked too long.
No.
Come up to the table, I'll answer your question.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I'm Pegasus Angel, and you were talking about how they say don't meet your heroes, but I'm very grateful that I got to meet you this weekend.
Come on now.
Seriously, you are amazing. But I had a question. When you found out that Blue's Clues was getting rebooted, how psyched were you?
I mean, very. I mean, I was like, ooh, that's a good idea, you know? And I did immediately think. They asked me, they approached me, can you help us find Josh? And I'm like, yeah. I'll help you. And then when we were finding him, I was like, I really want to do this. I need to be back on screen. No one can do this but me. I got very territorial. I was like, what if Steve came back? What if Steve came back and he was a detective now? I was like, the world's worth detective. How about that, okay? And I was also writing, so I'm like, and then Steve shows up and eats a cookie. So I was excited, and I gotta say, I have never enjoyed being Steve more than I do now, because I get to be a detective now, and I have no responsibilities whatsoever. I just show up and I'm like, hey, let's go now. All right, you do all the hard stuff, Josh. See ya. And it's such a blast. It's such a joy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm sorry I didn't get to your questions.
Once again, this conversation can absolutely continue across the street again. Steve will be here the rest of the day today, doing the autographs, photos, talking to all of you guys, talking to all of the us, that is, all of you, or however it is.
Where's Susanna? There you are. We keep doing it. We keep using your quote. Thank you.
Before you guys leave, we have a request of all of you. We would like to get a photo with you for the convention social media. So if you guys want to kind of fill in the space here,